Welcome back to the channel. Today let's take a look at the Smith Wesson Model 637 Airweight. Since the early 1950s, the Smith Wesson J-frame has been a popular self-defense revolver, particularly in a snub-nose configuration. Countless numbers of J-frames continue to be on nightstand duty to this day. Many are still carried daily as a primary defense weapon. Unlike the Model 36, the Model 637 lacks having a hammer-mounted firing pin. These have a frame-mounted floating firing pin. The Airweight models also have an alloy frame instead of steel, making them a bit lighter to carry. My only real gripe, and this has more to do with me than the gun, is that I have fairly large hands. J-frame grips have always felt smaller than I personally prefer. But that can be easily remedied by installing a larger grip like these from Pacmar. With these grips, I get a full hand purchase on this smaller revolver, making it much easier for me to control. Amusing story. A while back I went to the shooting range with a younger acquaintance of mine to watch him try out his new polymer subcompact. One of the handguns I brought along that day was a .38 caliber J-frame, very similar to this one. The minute I set it down on the shooting bench, he chuckled and said something about it being old school. I just smiled and nodded and proceeded to settle into a bit of target practice with it at 10 yards. I hadn't shot it in a while, but still managed to do reasonably well with it. The little J-frame performed flawlessly without a single hitch. Not so with my young friend's 9mm compact. He was obviously having a few issues with it. After several failures to feed and a stovepipe or two, I could see he was getting a bit frustrated. At some point I offered to let him fire a few rounds through my Smith & Wesson. He did and appeared impressed by it. Long story short, a few weeks later he came by the house and showed me his new Smith & Wesson's 360 Airweight. If you've never seen one, check out the insert. He said that after firing 100 or so rounds through it, he found it to be absolutely dependable, and that it was going to be his new concealed carry sidearm. My point in relating this story is to illustrate the fact that revolvers still have their place, and they're not going away, in spite of the popularity of semi-autos. For less experienced shooters, a revolver can be the better choice, particularly when learning the fundamentals of personal defense. As a bit more experienced firearms owner, I certainly appreciate the dependability a revolver offers. And let's not forget the fact that the .38 special round has always been considered one of the cornerstone self-defense cartridges. This 637 is rated for +P ammunition, but in a barrel this short you really don't reap any notable velocity increases using +P ammo. When it comes to .38 caliber snubbies in general, I found that a good quality 158 grain hollow point loaded in a standard velocity .38 special cartridge more than adequate for self-defense. Your preferences, of course, might vary, but that's the defense load I prefer to carry. That said, one of the things I really like about this 637 is the stainless finish. For EDC, I actually prefer handguns with a stainless finish, simply because there's no finish to wear off. I really love the look of a deeply blued handgun, but carried daily, a blued finish doesn't seem to fare nearly as well. As far as revolvers for home and self-defense go, the Smith & Wesson 637 is going to be hard to beat. It's simple to use, extremely reliable, accurate, and recoil's very manageable. So what's not to like? Until next time, practice often, shoot straight, and thanks for stopping by.